Now that you understand advanced DeFi strategies, it's time to talk about what separates users from masters. At this level, DeFi is no longer about chasing yields. It's about systems, discipline, and long-term thinking. The biggest shift happens in your mindset. In traditional finance, most people react. They wait for banks, employers, or governments to decide what happens next. In DeFi, you are proactive. You design your own financial structure. That means thinking in terms of systems, not single moves. A DeFi system might include stablecoin income for consistency, volatile assets for growth, yield strategies for compounding, liquidity positions for cash flow, governance, participation for influence. Each piece has a role. Nothing is random. One of the most overlooked parts of advanced DeFi is governance. Many protocols give users governance tokens. These tokens aren't just rewards, they are voting power. With them, you can vote on interest rates, protocol upgrades, risk parameters, treasure usage, new features and markets. This is something traditional finance never offers. Imagine voting on how your bank operates. That's normal in DeFi. Governance rewards patience. Long-term participants often receive incentives, airdrops, or additional yields simply for being involved. Another key concept at this level is protocol alignment. Advanced users don't jump constantly between platforms. They choose a small number of strong protocols and learn them deeply. They understand how liquidation thresholds work, how interest rates are calculated, where risks are hidden, how upgrades are rolled out. This knowledge reduces mistakes, and mistakes are expensive in DeFi. Automation becomes more important as your system grows. Instead of manually moving funds, advanced users rely on tools that rebalance positions, compound rewards, optimize yields, reduce gas costs. Automation doesn't remove responsibility, it increases it. You must understand what the system is doing even when you're not watching. This is where DeFi starts to feel different from trading. You're not chasing price, you're building infrastructure. Risk management becomes structural, not emotional. Instead of asking, how much can I make? Advanced users ask, how much can I lose if everything goes wrong? They plan for market crashes, network congestion, stablecoin depegs, smart contract failures. They assume stress will happen and design systems that survive it. Capital preservation becomes just as important as growth. Another advanced layer is cross-chain DeFi. DeFi no longer lives on one blockchain. Ethereum, Layer 2s, and other chains all offer different advantages. Advanced users move capital across chains to lower fees, access better yields, reduce congestion risk, diversify infrastructure. Bridges introduce new risks, but they also unlock flexibility. At this level, education never stops. Advanced DeFi users read protocol documentation, governance proposals, audit reports, risk disclosures. They don't rely on hype, they rely on understanding. Community becomes a strategic advantage. The strongest DeFi opportunities often appear first inside. Governance forums, Discord discussions, developer updates. Being early isn't luck, it's participation. And then there's the long view. DeFi isn't just competing with banks, it's redefining what finance is: open, global, programmable, permissionless, no office hours, no borders, no gatekeepers. But this freedom has a price. There are no refunds, no customer service, no safety net. That's why mastery matters. The people who thrive in DeFi aren't reckless, they're disciplined. They don't outsource trust, they verify. They don't follow blindly, they understand. They don't rush, they compound. At the highest level, DeFi becomes quiet. No hype, no panic, just systems running. Money working while you sleep. Not because someone promised it, but because code enforces it. DeFi doesn't reward belief, it rewards comprehension. And once you truly understand it, there's no going back. Because when finance is open, transparent, and programmable, you don't ask for permission, you build. Now that you understand DeFi today, it's time to look forward. Because DeFi is not finished, it's not even close. What you're seeing now is the early internet of finance. Clumsy in places, confusing at times, but impossible to stop. The next phase of DeFi is not about higher yields, it's about integration. DeFi is slowly merging with everything else. One of the biggest forces shaping its future is artificial intelligence. AI doesn't replace DeFi, it amplifies it. In the future, AI agents will monitor markets 24/7, rebalance portfolios automatically, detect risk before humans do, optimize yield strategies in real time, manage complex multi-protocol systems. Instead of you clicking buttons, you'll define rules. The system will execute. Finance becomes programmable behavior. Another massive shift is real-world assets. Right now, DeFi mostly deals with crypto-native assets. That's changing. Real-world assets like Real estate, government bonds, corporate debt, stocks, commodities are being tokenized and brought on chain. This means rental income can be automated, bonds can settle instantly, ownership can be fractional, markets can stay open 24/7. DeFi becomes a bridge between the digital and physical world. This isn't theory, it's already happening, quietly. Another key evolution is Layer 2 scaling. High fees and slow transactions were never permanent problems, they were growing pains. Layer 2 networks make DeFi faster, cheaper, or more accessible. This opens the door for everyday users, not just whales. When fees disappear, experimentation explodes. Then there's regulation. This is where most people get it wrong. Regulation doesn't kill DeFi, it clarifies it. The future isn't fully unregulated chaos or full control, it's coexistence. Protocols will adapt, front ends will comply. Core contracts remain neutral. DeFi doesn't disappear, it evolves. The important shift is this: regulation targets access points, not math. You can regulate companies. You can't regulate open source code running globally. Another major trend is identity without surveillance. DeFi is exploring ways to prove you're human, you're solvent, you meet requirements without revealing who you are. Zero-knowledge proofs allow compliance without exposure. Privacy and regulation don't have to be enemies. They can coexist mathematically. The next generation of DeFi will feel invisible. No complex wallets, no confusing interfaces, no long transaction waits. You'll interact with DeFi the way you use the internet, seamlessly. Behind the scenes, smart contracts will settle payments, manage risk, distribute rewards, enforce rules. You won't think about DeFi, you'll just use it. And that's when adoption truly begins. But the most important future shift isn't technical, it's cultural. People are slowly realizing something uncomfortable. Trust is no longer automatic. Banks failed, currencies inflated, systems froze accounts, rules changed overnight. DeFi didn't promise perfection, it offered choice. And choice changes everything. In the future, financial literacy won't be optional. You won't need to be an expert, but you'll need awareness. Just like the internet, those who learned early gained leverage. Those who ignored it became dependent. DeFi creates a world where money is software, rules are transparent, access is global, control is optional. That doesn't mean everyone will choose it, but it means everyone will have to reckon with it. The future of DeFi isn't about replacing banks overnight. It's about offering an alternative that never closes, never discriminates, and never asks permission. Quietly, relentlessly, globally. And one day, people will look back and realize finance didn't collapse, it unlocked. You didn't just learn about DeFi, you learned how money actually works. Not the version taught in schools, not the version explained by banks, but the version written in code, enforced by math, and executed without permission. At the beginning of this series, DeFi may have sounded like technology. By now, you understand it's a shift in power. For centuries, finance depended on trust. Trust in institutions. Trust in intermediaries. Trust that rules would stay the same tomorrow. That trust was never guaranteed. It was borrowed. DeFi replaces borrowed trust with verifiable rules. Not promises, not reputation, not authority, just logic. And logic doesn't care who you are, where you're from, or who's watching. That's why this matters. Because when finance becomes programmable, control changes hands. For the first time, individuals can hold assets without custodians, earn yield without permission, move value globally in minutes, verify systems instead of trusting them. No office hours, no approval process, no closed doors, just access. This doesn't mean DeFi is perfect. It isn't. It has risks. It has failures. It has learning curves that punish carelessness. But so did every system before it. The difference is this: when DeFi fails, it fails in the open. When rules change, you can see them. When power exists, it's visible. Transparency is accountability, and accountability changes behavior. This series wasn't about getting rich quickly. It was about understanding leverage. Knowledge is leverage. Choice is leverage. Automation is leverage. Those who understand systems don't need permission from them. DeFi rewards the prepared. It punishes the careless. It exposes ignorance instantly. That's not cruelty. That's clarity. And clarity is rare in finance. What comes next won't look dramatic. No single headline, no overnight replacement, no final collapse, just gradual migration, more people choosing control, more capital moving on chain, more systems becoming automated, more rules becoming transparent. Until one day, centralized finance feels outdated, not evil, just inefficient, like sending letters instead of emails, like calling a taxi instead of using an app, like trusting blindly when verification is free. This is the real shift. Not technology, not tokens, not charts, responsibility. DeFi gives you freedom, but freedom demands understanding. There is no customer support line, No one to reverse mistakes, no one to blame. Only systems, only choices, only outcomes. And that's the trade. If you've made it this far, you're already ahead. Not because you'll use every protocol, not because you'll chase every yield, but because you see the landscape clearly. You understand that finance is changing, and you understand that ignorance is optional. This isn't the end of DeFi. It's the end of pretending money is simple, and the beginning of a world where trust is optional, rules are visible, and control is earned. If this series helped you see that shift, take a moment, like the video, subscribe if you want more work like this, comment below with the word DeFi, and share this with someone who still thinks trust is automatic. Because once finance is mathematical, clarity becomes power.